Hi, hello and welcome back to F1 Challenge VB. My name is Mephisto and our epic journey through the history of Formula 1 continues today with the 4th round of the 1961 season, the French Grand Prix. It was held on the 2nd of July, it had 31 entries, 26 of them took part in the race with 11 of them having to retire. The race consisted of 52 laps completed in 2 hours, 14 minutes and 17 seconds. Phil Hill started the race from pole with Von Trips in 2nd, Ginther 3rd, Moss 4th, Gurney 5th and Graham Hill started from 6th. Baghetti drove a fantastic race to win the French Grand Prix from Dan Gurney, who was a mere 1/10 of a second behind. Jim Clark finished the race in 3rd, 1 minute and 1 second after the Italian. Ireland ended up in 4th, he was 1 minute 10.3 seconds behind. Bruce McLaren crossed the line in 5th, he was 1 minute 41.8 seconds behind. And rounding off the top 5 was Graham Hill, who was 1 minute 41.9 seconds adrift. The fastest lap of the race went to Phil Hill, it was a 2 minute 27.1 second lap. We're back in Reims for the French Grand Prix, where a lap starts off with a long run down into turn 1, a long open right-hander. Turn 2 is next, another long open right-hander. This is followed by turn 3, an open left-hander that almost immediately leads us into turn 4, a tight right-hand hairpin. This brings us onto the longest straight of the track, which ends with another tight right-hand hairpin. This itself brings us around onto the main straight, and that is a lap around the Reims circuit. And here we are in qualifying for the French Grand Prix, coming around to set our first qualifying lap, a 2:25.3, which puts us into pole. However, that doesn't mean too much because it was before who posted the previous pole time, and there was only one other person who had posted a qualifying lap. However, I later come around to improve my time, a 2:23.074. So I'll probably, I don't know, I really don't think we'll stay in pole. Anyway, here is the previous French Grand Prix winners. Last time we've won here was in 1952. I think that was in Rouen, so haven't won the French Grand Prix too many times. And look at that, Andy Higgs actually manages to stay in pole with Phil Hill in 2nd, Sterling Moss 3rd, 4th is Trintignant, De Beaufort 5th, Brabham 6th, 7th is Jim Clark, followed by Giancarlo Baghetti in 8th, 9th is Innes Ireland, followed by Jackie Lewis in 10th. In 11th we have Dan Gurney, followed by John Surtees, who is in 12th, Graham Hill 13th, 14th Richie Ginther, 15th Tony Brooks, 16th is Lorenzo Bandini, followed by Jack Brabham, who is in 17th, 18th Roy Salvadori, and bringing up the rear we have Joe Bonnier in 19th and Maston Gregory down in 20th. So that is the grid lineup for this year's French Grand Prix. Andy Higgs starting from pole, something that's not happened very often to us, so not entirely sure what, well, I kind of know what happened, but anyway, let's wait for the lights to go off. And once again I failed to release the clutch properly, and I lose 3 positions already. We're down in 4th. I really need to work on my clutch work there, because that's not very good. Losing positions so early on is not very good ever. Anyway, we're down in 4th, chasing after Baghetti. Clark is right behind us. Hopefully we can at least stay ahead of him, and maybe slowly catch up to the guys in front. And here is another replay of the start. Very slow on my end. Again, I really need to try and work on my clutch, on releasing the clutch in a better way at a more precise time than when I do it, because these slow starts aren't doing me any favors. And here we are coming into turn 4 here, the first hairpin. I go a bit wide, I've braked very early into the corner. That allowed Jim Clark to move up into 4th, but I managed to get a better drive out of the corner, so we move back up into 4th just as we rejoin the old part of the circuit. However, I then dipped the car in the grass there to the left. I wasn't really able to control the car, and I lost my positions once again, and we're now down in 4th and coming through the final corner, and Ireland also overtakes us, so we're now down in 8th. However, shortly after that I managed to overtake Ireland. We move back up into 7th, and then eventually up into 6th as we pass De Beaufort now chasing after Jackie Lewis, who is in 5th. But at least we are back up in the points, which is kind of good, I guess. Hopefully we can stay here and, well, score some points. That would be quite nice. Here we are on lap 2, coming into turn 4 here. I missed my braking point completely, which forced me to go off the track there, out of bounds, and lose a whole bunch of positions. We're now down in 13th, which isn't very good. And then as we come around to finish lap 2 through the final corner, we saw there Richie Ginther kind of pulling to the side. They're not quite sure what happened, as I overtake Dan Gurney in his Porsche there. Now let's see if we can also overtake John Surtees, but first let's see a replay of Phil Hill, who has retired actually. We see him come into the final corner. He loses control of his car, not entirely sure what happened there, but ends up at the side of the road and decided to retire shortly after this. So that's it for his race, as we now start lap 3, and I am just about to overtake John Surtees for 10th, and hopefully we'll stay. Hopefully we'll be able to catch the Porsche of de Beaufort, which we actually do as we come through the hairpin here. Can we get a better drive out of the corner? Yes, we can, and we move up into 9th. Now chasing after Graham Hill. Hopefully we'll catch him soon enough. Well, that doesn't actually happen as we come into the final corner here. John Surtees manages to overtake us, and we fall back down into 10th. As we come around to finish lap 3 and start lap 4, I managed to catch up to Surtees and pass him again back. So we move back up into 9th. However, that didn't last for long, as John Surtees once again overtakes me as we come into turn 4 here, and he's now pulled away quite significantly. I do not think I can catch him anymore, and I wasn't able to. So we move on to lap 12 here, and John Surtees has pulled a massive gap, 7 seconds now, so there's no chance of me catching him. And here's a replay of Tony Brooks, who loses his brakes on lap 12 here, and, well, hits that milestone, loses a wheel, and he's out of the French Grand Prix. So that's quite unfortunate for him, as we now move on to lap 13. And here is a replay of Joe Bonnier coming into the pits with a gearbox problem. So he is out of the French Grand Prix as well, so kind of sad for him. As we now move on to lap 18, the final lap of the French Grand Prix, as Phil Hill crosses the line to take the win of the French Grand Prix, and here he is, crosses the line and takes the win. He also posted the fastest lap just as he took the win, so that's a one of those two for the price of one deals, I guess. So very congratulations to Phil Hill. And here we are coming around to finish the race in 10th. Not a very good finishing position. Not obviously we are far below the points, but at least we managed to stay within the top 10, which is, well, kind of good, I would say. And here are the race results we see. And Phil Hill managed to indeed post the fastest lap, 2:22.275. As we take a look at, well, the rest of the finishers, and hopefully we get to see the retirements. Yes, 3 people retired, so not that many, which is kind of pleasing, to be honest. I'm quite happy with that result. But anyway, here are the career statistics, and this was Andy's 99th Grand Prix. His best start is from first, has 6 pole positions, has set 15 fastest laps, his best finishes in first, has completed 70 races, 56 of them in the points, has won 34 Grand Prix, 4 at the Indianapolis 500, 6 in Monaco, has 7 championships under his belt, has scored a total of 379 points, has retired 29 times, has experienced 2,254 out of 2,720 laps, has 6 bronze trophies, 9 silver trophies, 34 gold trophies, and as an extension 34 podiums. And here is a quick look at the championship standings. Phil Hill takes the lead, Ireland and Moss fighting for second, Higgs and Hill fighting for fourth, Richie Ginther is in sixth, the last person to score points is John Surtees down in 13th, and at the very bottom of the standings is Joe Bonnier, who has yet to finish a race. So that's the driver standings. Now let's move on to the constructors, and here we see Ferrari increasing their lead in the championship, with Owen Racing Organization in 2nd, Team Lotus 3rd, 4th are Rob Walker Racing Team, Scuderia Sant'Ambreus are 5th, Porsche are 6th, and the last team to score points are Human Credit Racing in 9th. So those are the standings as of this race. Our next race is the British Grand Prix, held at Aintree this time, a pretty fun circuit. I quite enjoy racing around there. Too bad there are rumors that it might not stay in the sport for much longer, which is kind of unfortunate, but oh well. So that was the French Grand Prix. Quite a good race, I would say, for pretty much everyone, including Andy, because, well, this was his highest finish the whole season, excluding the Dutch Grand Prix where no one else finished the race, so that was quite nice. And this was mainly due to the fact that I did, in fact, as I stated at the end of the last video, I would reduce the AI strength, and I have indeed reduced the AI strength just a little bit, about 8%, and it seems to have worked quite well. But anyway, that is the end of this video. Quite a good race. I was quite happy with the overall results. Maybe finishing a little bit higher would have been nicer, but you can't have all of it, and I did make quite a few mistakes, which kind of cost me in the end, so there's that. But anyway, don't forget to vote for next season's team, link is in the description. I also have a second channel where I will be playing all sorts of different games. At the moment I'm doing a playthrough of Diablo 2 and IL-2 Thermovic 1946, so if you're interested in any of those games, there will be a link in the description to my second channel as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, stay sharp.